everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 39 of Direwolf20's Let's Play Not Too Complicated series, where I'm hanging out by my reactor. Made only a little bit of a mess. Not a big one, just a little one. You might notice things look a little different over here, and that's the cause of the mess of the nuclear mess that we made. And if we get our Geiger counter out, you'll see it's not that bad. We're sitting around 28. This is like the worst spot right here, this little block. Right here is kind of the worst spot. 28, not as bad as it was a bit ago when it was at 36. So it's already reducing. It's fine. It's fine. Between episodes, I decided that it's about time to get into supercritical phase shifting, because the quest book tells me that we want to make the supercritical phase shift before we can get into mass fabrication, which is what's going to get me universal mass. So, quick reminder, mass fabrication looks like the old industrial craft mass fab system, where you can basically void items, and it'll give you scrap that you can use to produce mass with lots of energy. So that's what we're going to be playing with today. We've got to make an antiprotonic nucleosynthesizer, though, which does require antimatter pellets in order to get into this process. So long story short, it's supercritical phase shifter time. Now, polonium is turned into antimatter at a rate of 1,000 millibuckets to 1 millibucket, and then we need 1,000 millibuckets to get an antimatter pellet. So long story short, we need lots of polonium. So we also need to not automatically dump our polonium into the pressurized reaction chamber. I needed a little spacing tool here in between our solar neutron activator, which is producing the polonium, and the pressurized reaction chamber. And then I gave this guy a redstone control so that he can, he's no longer running. He's still getting polonium, but he's no longer running, right? Eventually he'll back stuff, and then he'll back stuff, and then you get the idea. But the point is that now I can run some pressurized tubes to the supercritical phase shifter that I'm about to build, and that's going to be cool. So the radioactive mess came from me moving these blocks. So there was a smidgen of plutonium and a smidgen of polonium in the blocks when I moved them, and I sat there and said to myself, it's a very small amount, it won't cause that much radiation, and I can't remember if they retain their contents or not when you break them. So the answer is no, they do not retain their contents, and it definitely creates a radioactive mess if you break those blocks with liquid polonium or plutonium in there. So keep that in mind. So now this should be enough polonium pellets now. I need 60 of these, and I was short 4. Yes, so now we should be cool for that. Now we're going to need a couple more, so that may not still be enough, but we'll see. Sweet. So these guys aren't bad to make, but they do need a healthy amount of polonium and plutonium pellets. Now, in addition to that, we're going to want 3 SPS ports, which is going to need a healthy bit more polonium, but that's okay. We're also going to need a supercharged coil. I think just one's enough. You can have more if you wish, but I think 1 is enough. And now you're probably crafting... Oh, you have to make a steel casing. Okay, that makes sense. No, that's cool. That's perfectly fine. Sweet. Now with that steel coil cooking, let's also make some reactor or structural glass. We need 123 of them. So that should be enough. Not a biggie. Nice. So you are crafting the steel casing, right? I always get nervous about this crafting mechanic because it's not super perfect, but I guess it worked. Yeah, no, it did. Sweet. One of these days I will learn to trust it without having to double check it. One of these days. So 123 would be -5, right? Yeah, because 128 is 2 stacks. So there's your 3, your supercharged coil. Nice. The 60 SPS casings that we're going to need. Now we just need 3 SPS ports, which is going to require a smidge more polonium. Not a big deal, because I have it still being produced over here. So we're probably just going to take, a 10 or 15 minute break and come back and have the polonium in production, right? So yeah, I mean, it's not going to take like 10 minutes tops. And then, pretty soon, remember, so radiation, if you break pipes or barrels or blocks that have either plutonium, polonium, nuclear waste, or spent nuclear waste, any of those blocks get broken, it's going to spill that radiation into the chunks around your space. So not a good time. Don't want to have that happen. Trust me, it's bad. Luckily, I'm wearing a suit that has radiation protection, so I'm pretty safe. You can see on the bottom right, it's telling me what my player's radiation effect is. So quick refresh on radiation from Mechanism is there's radiation in the chunks. Players being in the chunk without radiation protection start absorbing radiation into their bodies, which eventually cause negative effects like hunger and death, among a few others, I think. But eventually, the chunks, just by virtue of time passing, the radiation value starts to drop, and it drops, and it drops, and it drops, and eventually it'll be gone, so you really just need to wait. And if this bothers you enough that you want to cheat the solution in, there's a command you can run to clear all radiation, and then it'll just, adios. And the radiation is bad and like closer to the point where you broke it. So you can see out here the numbers are really low, and as we get closer to that block space where I broke those two machines, you can see the number getting higher and higher, right? And then it's, you know, worst right here. But like I said, it'll eventually be nothing everywhere. And the same for your player, right? If you absorb radiation, your player's radiation value will start to drop over time. So let's come back in a few minutes once we have a few more polonium pellets. We can build a supercritical phase shifter. We can turn polonium into antimatter. The antimatter can then be turned into antimatter pellets for the purposes of making the machines we need to make to look at the matter system, which I don't think I've ever played with in Mechanism, so I'm excited to see it. All right, back in a few. All right, guys, we are back, and I've got a supercritical phase shifter ready to be built. So this guy, I have to Google exactly how he works because I kind of forget. But let's try and fit him here if we can, and if we can't, then I'll put him a chunk over. Does that sound fair? I think that fits. I think he'll fit here. I really do. So let's see. Where's my? I had this up. Here it is. So basically, what we want to do is it's going to be these guys and this guy, right? And what we want is a 3, and then 1 here, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 1 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. And then the inside of that should all be reactor glass, I believe. Cool. And then you're going to be 1, 2, 3 with 1 on either side. And then like that. Yeah. And then 1, 2, 3 with 1 on either side. And then 1, 2, 3. And then we just repeat that all around. So I'm gonna do the rest of that off camera. I'll be right back. All right, so we're coming into the home stretch of this multi-block construction. I think we just need to fill in a few more of these bad boys. Did I not bring enough reactor glass? Did I math that wrong? I might have mathed it wrong. Is it possible? Anything's possible. Oh, well, I'll grab a couple more. Oh, you know what it is? It's the three SPS ports that I don't have ready to go. That's all. That's all it is. Okay, that's fair. That's simple. That's not a problem. So what we want is an SPS port here, an SPS port probably here, and maybe an SPS port here. Does that sound cool? That works. And then the remaining 3 glass can be 1, 2, 3, and then boom, is build. Oh, you know what I need? I need to put the coil inside. So let's put the coil here. Boom, is build? No, because I'm missing 3 somewhere. 3 of these somewhere. I have 3 extra of these, so that means I missed something somewheres. Where could I have possibly missed them? Killing me, Smalls. What did I do? Oh, here it is, this corner. There, hey, all right. See? Darren knows what he's doing, promise. He said lyingly. All right, so then you need some energy, if I remember correctly. So how about just a flux point? Boom. You're going to get all the RFs. Now, I don't know if it has to be. And you can have multiple lasers in there, by the way, but I think we'll be fine. I don't think we need to worry about this too much. So what I'm going to do is turn you off, right? You're going to start filling up with polonium, okay? But then what I would like to do is basically run more basic pressurized tubes. And I think basic's the way to go, because like I said, I don't like having large buffers of the explodey radiation causing stuff. Speaking of radiation, enough time has passed that we should see a significant decrease. Where were we at, in the 20s before? I think now we're in like the 8s. So we've definitely significantly reduced that, so that's cool. So let's run you like that. Now, since you're filling up, what's going to happen is you're going to fill up your buffer, but then after the buffer is full, everything's going to go into the SPS. Nice. All right, cool. Okay, well that's neat. And if we need more power, we can handle more power. We'll deal with that in a minute. So, wow, you're draining a lot of power. I might throw you on the reactor network, just so you have more power with which to operate, and I think that'll be cool. But I'm going to make you a lower priority on the reactor network. I'm going to make you, like, -5. So you're a low priority on the reactor network, and the reason for that is, check this out. So basically what's going to happen is priority 1 will be over here, and this guy's -1,000. So the last thing we do is trash it, right? So it'll fill the batteries first, then it'll dump power into the SPS reactor, and if the SPS reactor doesn't need power, then we will trash it. Cool? Only because we're producing way more energy right now than we can store in the batteries and transfer, right? The batteries can do around a little more than 200,000, and this guy's doing 570,000. So there's, even if all the batteries need power, we're only putting 200,000 into them, we're wasting 370,000. Again, the main purpose of this guy is making polonium and antimatter, not energy, but like, let's use energy in an efficient way anyway, right? So that's what we're gonna do, right? So right now you're doing that, and then if we need more, we'll figure out more, right? But for now, right, you are gonna still fill up your internal buffer. It's probably splitting right now, the polonium between here and here, but we've started to get antimatter at a very slow and steady rate. Now, antimatter can be used to make a bunch of things that I don't need to make ever, because EMC exists, right? So none of this matters. Only thing we want to do is turn antimatter into antimatter pellets. So let's get a chemical crystallizer, so that we can start doing that, right? Now, it's going to take a long time. Luckily, I got some things to do, so we're going to take a little break here. But chemical crystallizer, that would be this guy. So we're going to want some steel casing, which needs more steel essence. My goodness. Every time I think we've got enough steel. Where is our steel? There he is. That's why this thing exists. Right? How cool. Alright, so I'm going to make this off camera, and then we're going to just idle for a little bit to get antimatter. Because I need 1,000 antimatter to make 1 pellet, and we need 2 pellets at the very least. So, it's going to take a while. I will probably increase the reactor up to like 50, but we'll see. Yeah, back in a few once I'm good to go here. Yeah? Great. So I'm thinking I might want a fusion reactor. Maybe. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of reading. Yes, I'm thinking we might want a fusion reactor. I remember them being relatively straightforward and mostly run on water, if I remember correctly, and low chance of exploding. So our problem right now is I think we don't have enough power. You'll notice that we have a small loss of polonium, but the point is that, see how there's this guy just backstuffed because I had him running for a bit, making more polonium pellets. But, see how we're gaining polonium now? So we're producing more polonium gas than we're able to process based on our current 1 million RF a tick. I bumped this up to 50. Cool. So I think I might want to do a fusion reactor to give this guy more power. Alright, just making a couple of the components for a fusion reactor here. Now the fusion reactor itself is going to need one of these, One of these, some of these, and 61 of these, which is really what I wanted to check out. So let's make sure that we can actually get that much based on our current polonium amount. We might be able to, actually, looking at how many you get per craft. I think we might be, if we're not already there, I think we're close to there in terms of this being doable. We'll find out, I guess, right? Yeah, buddy. Let's do it. So you want me to get, for fusion, 61 of these? We're short on osmium essence, of all things. Okay. We can handle that, right? Yep, we definitely can. I think we have a way to handle that problem. Is this osmium? It is. Oh, look who's still set up down here. I didn't even realize you were running still. That's funny. Okay. Look how quickly this will become less of a problem. 905 missing. 489 missing. 41 missing. And we're good. Cool. You need to make a lot of steel casings for this. Holy cow. So we'll be back in a bit because that's going to take a little time for the crafting to occur. Right? This should be momentarily, but still. Yeah, it's going to be a minute. So we'll be right back. I feel like this has been running a while, and we're not even 10% of the way there. We're literally 9% of the way there. So, it's... Yeah, I think fusion's the right way to go here, for sure. For sure. And maybe a bigger nuclear reactor, but we'll see about that. I'm not sure. I'm not sold on the bigger nuclear reactor bit yet. You know, I do want to say I'm proud of myself. Am I allowed to say that? Because I requested 16 of these, and the automation here is working beautifully. I've been doing 1 or 2 at a time and it's fine, but like kicking off 16 and having it all work is kind of nice. All right, we should be cool with 2 extra of these bad boys. So that's that quest complete. And this is all the reading. So I remember roughly, wow, it's a lot of RF, but we're making 1 million RF a tick. So I think we should be fine. It's only 600 ticks to get that far, which is not long. 5 minutes? Is that math correct? Is that Pam? Cool. So I remember we need to make the whole room out of DT fuel, right? And we need deuterium and tritium coming in. So we should probably plan to get that going. And then let's look at this bad boy, right? So let's get him built in the chunk, and then also in the chunk will be our deuterium, our tritium, and other stuff, right? So let's see. Is there a picture of it in the quest book so I don't have to tab out to find it? Yeah, that works. So it's a plus sign of reactor glass. Did I bring the reactor glass with me? I thought I did. It needs reactor glass, right? No, it actually doesn't show it needing it, though it can have it. Is it reactor glass that we want? Does that work with it? Or is there another kind of mechanism glass that we want? There is structural glass. It might be structural glass. It might be structural glass. Yeah, let me get this real quick. Oh, you know what? It is reactor glass. It is reactor glass that we can use. Cool. So what we want to do is build this. It's a star shape, right? So like, let's kind of line it up here, and we'll see that we have plenty of room. So we want to put down like that, and then surround this with these dudes. Kind of like that is the gist of what we want. Cool. And then this. So that's step 1, a square with all corners. So it should be a 3x3 internal. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then, cool. And then here, we're going to do a similar square, but we want the laser focus in the middle. And then we want these guys on the sides, like so. And then that. And then the reactor controller goes in the middle. And these guys might be that for now. That looks pretty darn cool. Is that close to right? I feel like that's off by some point. Am I missing something here? I feel like we have a couple extra fusion frames. That looks about right, though, doesn't it? It's close. It's close. I'm questioning if these need to be here, because that should be a plus. Oh, you know what it is? I think we need ones here and here and here. And here. There we go. That's it. That's what was missing. Sweet. All right, cool. And the controller is where we can access the UI. All right, so real quick, testing some stuff. If we want to get DT fuel, and we also need tritium and deuterium for powering the reactor, but we need deuterium and tritium to make DT fuel. Then we need deuterium and tritium to keep the reactor running. Tritium's easy. Solar neutron activator, lithium to tritium. Easy peasy. We've got this stuff already. We'll make that happen. I'm going to do that off camera. So deuterium is the tricky bit. We need heavy water, which, as you guys may recall, in order to get heavy water, it's not bad. It's not bad, except in this pack where water is not an infinite resource. So if I do that, it sucks it up. See? Heavy water. So what I came up with, and I did this off camera because I went through several iterations of this. I tried formation planes from applied energistics. I tried fluid placers from industrial foregoing, and then I finally tried this, and it worked the best. Is aqueous accumulator with resin integral components, fluid interface on top, set this guy to place all fluids. And I can mute that. So that's how we're going to get heavy water. That should work pretty smoothly. Cool. So I'm going to get this set up off camera. I'm also going to do the tritium setup off camera, and we'll come back when everything's together. Cool. So be right back. All right, if I'm not mistaken, I've got everything kind of ready here. So here's what I set up. Over by my lithium, I have a solar dude taking care of tritium for me. So I've got tritium coming via quantum entangloper. We've got a tritium channel. And it's filling this gas tank, which is currently not filling because, remember, solar neutron activators only work during the day. It's an important note. So let's take a quick nap and get that sorted so that it is daytime. And then we should see that tritium tank filling up. And then I've got my whole room here ready to go. Deuterium setup. I'll show you in a sec. Let's see. So you're good. Right, deuterium setup is the system I showed you, just a little bit more compact. So aqueous accumulator with this guy placing fluids. I muted the sounds, but just rest assured that he is running like a bandit right now, filling up this tank, and this guy is making deuterium, which is going into a chemical infuser with another tritium-based connector to make DT fuel. So now I should be able to do this, and that makes DT fuel. And then we pop our DT fuel into here. And then I've filled this guy up with about 800 million RF of energy, courtesy of the one laser. So I think at this point, it's just give him redstone signal and he fires and reactor's on. Let's see. Yes? Are you up? Are you cool? Nice. All right. Now, do I have any flux plugs on me? That is a question. I do. Cool. So you're going to suddenly be a generators network flux, a reactors network flux plug. And are you not outputting the power? Because I would expect you to output power. So you've got RF in here. That's good. Fuel, stats, heat levels rising. I think heat's good. Now remember, we can adjust the injection rate, which we might need to drop down because it looks like, oh, I think 2 might be the minimum. Did we just kill the reaction? We might have. Yeah, we totally did. All right, so I guess 2 is the minimum there. It looked like we weren't getting enough tritium. Was I reading that wrong? Looked like we had a net loss on tritium. Oh, maybe because you are not ejecting correctly? Gases eject to the right. I thought I had that configured correctly. All right, well, that's a bummer because what it means is we are going to need to do... Yeah. So let's bump that up to 3 now. But we need to do another hull rum and another blast of energy. So let's put this here from the generators network. No, from the reactor network. Now, the problem is you're a little bit slow. But what I'm going to do is my old pal. So this guy only accepts a certain amount of RF. But we need to get him back up to 600,000 or 600 million. And this laser amplifier will pulse a 700 million pulse. So it won't take long to fill that back up. And then maybe another hull rum. Now, did that destroy the hull rum? I think it does. So, you know, let's see if things are better now. All I need is a little bit of gold dust, and we'll be good. All right, so got another DT fuel pellet. That goes in there. This guy is at 600, almost 700. Show me 700. Cool. All right, let's ignite this guy again. Sweet. Now we've got heat going up. We've got fuel injection rate of 2. I'm not sure why you're not exporting energy. You might need an ultimate universal cable. You have to be, like, told to export or what? But, yeah, this thing should be cool now. Yeah, there we go. Nice. Disable limit. Nice. 3.2 million RF a tick. That's what's up. Now, once we clear out our backlog of energy in there, we're sitting around 300,000, but it's also heating up still. So I'm going to let this heat up for a little bit, but I just want to make sure we're going to have to keep an eye on our tritium. We might need to slow this thing down to a 2. Is he still at it? Yeah, he's already at 2. We might need more tritium production. We'll see. I'm going to play with this off camera. All right, so I've been playing around with the thresholds for injection rate. So just basic refresher on how this works. The higher the injection rate, and this is in millibuckets per tick, the more power you get. And that's all it is. But you have to make sure you're producing enough deuterium and tritium per tick in order to make this. So tritium, I think, is no problem. I think I had a little bit of a dire derp on the settings of the tank there. But we are actually producing far more than enough tritium. I think we're like killing it on tritium. We have more than enough production going on for that. So that's no big deal. Deuterium, we're doing actually pretty fine on. If we take a look over here, I've got 1 speed and energy upgrade, and we're actually breaking even on deuterium. And I can prove that by turning this off. Redstone detection normal. And now see how we're losing deuterium? So we are using deuterium, but with this electrolyte separator working, we are breaking even on deuterium. And then if we were to throw another speed and energy upgrade in there, we'd be net gaining on deuterium. So, you know, I'm just saying. I think we're cool. What I'll probably do is just throw all the energy upgrades in there, just so we have, you know, why not? But then speed, boop, I'll just keep the 1, and we'll let it just be the, well, maybe I'll throw in 1 extra in there, just so we have plenty of excess, right? Deuterium. Never hurts to have more. And that's running at a injection rate of 8. At injection rate of 4, we were breaking even on deuterium without any speed upgrades. So we could definitely crank this guy up to a higher injection rate if we needed the power. But I don't know that we need the power, frankly, because we're producing 1.5 million RF a tick, which is more than this guy by a pretty significant margin, right? Well, this is 1.1 million, this guy's 1.5 million, and this guy's running at 50 out of 52, by the way. If I want him to be bigger, I need to make him a larger multi-block. But long story short, we now have plenty of RF, like a stupid amount of RF that we will never run out of. Well, I shouldn't say that. You know how things go in these packs sometimes. So I'm not going to say that we have a stupid amount of RF that we'll never run out. We have a good amount of RF for now. It may be that we never run out, or it may just be that it's enough for now. In addition, the polonium, we are probably producing more... Yeah, really? You backstuffed polonium? Really? So we need more power? Is that what I'm hearing? So what if I cranked you up to 12? You want to go by 2s, by the way. And as a note, it takes a while for the reactor to stabilize. So basically, the injection rate affects the heat, and the heat affects the RF generation. So it takes a while, now that we've adjusted the injection rate, for that heat to climb, and as the heat climbs, the power production will similarly climb, and then it'll eventually stabilize itself out. So with that said, are we gonna start seeing a good break-even point? That's a good question for us. Now, if I wanted to demonstrate, you know, if I tech accelerated this a little bit, you will start doing a lot more. You will start producing a lot more power, and you should start draining this stuff a little bit quickly-ish. Maybe. I'm not sure, actually. I'm honestly not sure where we're at with this. Well, yeah, that doesn't help because we're now not exporting from the reactor fast enough. We've capped out what these cables are capable of doing, 3.2 million RF a tick. I'm guessing I could put more fusion reactor ports on this and export from more. We'll see. If we need to get to that point, we will. Right? But this will also, by the way, help with the heat stabilization. So heat should be stabilizing a little bit better now. And then what we'll find up seeing is once this thing drains its internal buffer from the tick accelerator wearing off, then we'll see how much power we're producing at a level of 12. And it's probably still climbing in heat. So we're probably not quite there yet, but we're sitting around 2.2 million and climbing. So that's kind of exciting. And you're, you know, really just burning through this stuff. I wish I knew what our production was here. Because now I'm questioning. I thought we, like, had more than enough, frankly. But maybe I'm wrong about that. Or maybe we just have a big backlog inside this pressurized tube. That's definitely a possibility. What we're going to have to do is just kind of wait. Because the problem, and this is why I don't like using these tubes, is I have no idea how much is in here. Like, this could be 50 millibuckets or 50 million millibuckets. I have no idea. I know the tubes themselves can hold a capacity of 16 million millibuckets. So each tube is holding 16,000 buckets of waste. So I have no idea what's in there. There's no tooltip and there's no indication. I don't think F3 is going to tell me nothing about that. There's no way to read that MBT value. Probably short of integrated dynamics might be able to read it, but meh. The point being, we have a lot of nuclear waste back stuff in there, and I don't know if we're burning through this fast enough, but I'm going to assume that we probably are. Because I remember we were pretty close to fast enough when we only had 1 million, and we've pretty much tripled that now. So I'm going to assume that our processing rate is good enough such that we just have a large backlog of this stuff to process, right? So we'll see what happens. Now, with regards to antimatter, we are pitifully not enough. I mean, we are just embarrassingly slow with the amount of antimatter that's in here. And my concern is, I might want to bump this guy up even higher. By the way, I might make him 16. I don't know what his limit is, but whatever. But if we can bump him up to 16, that might be cool. I think that means we'll be making 3.2 million RF a tick, which is getting really close to the limit of this guy. So I think 16 is where we're going to want to be, which means that we will probably be breaking even on our deuterium again. So let's throw another speed upgrade on him just to make him super cool, right? And again, with the ultimate mechanical pipes, I have no idea if we're net gaining or losing, mostly because the ultimate mechanical pipes are sitting here just filling up a ridiculously large buffer. It's my only pet peeve with mechanism pipes, is because they have that huge buffer, which I like that the buffer exists. I'd like to see what the buffer is. So it would be cool if there was a way to read that value. And maybe there is, and Dyer just doesn't know it. I mean, I don't know. Beats me. So anyway, lots of power, lots of production of good stuff. You're going to start climbing up to that 3.2 million and then balance out right around there. You're going to be producing plenty of antimatter, just really slowly still. It really is a very slow process, right? It takes from here to here to make a millibucket, right? And that millibucket, we need 1,000 of them in order to make our first antimatter. And then I know for sure we need 2 antimatters. Now, here's the deal. Number 1, we need antimatter pellets. That'll get us a quest reward. This guy needs 2 antimatter pellets to make this thing. And then this guy, the mass fabricator, needs 1 of those to make a mass fabricator. Okay? I don't know if we need Like the recycler, does that need antimatter? It doesn't look like it. Scrap boxes. The scanner, does this need antimatter? Pattern storage, it doesn't look like it. And then matter synthesizer, does this need antimatter? It doesn't look like it. It does need another one of these. So we need in total 4 antimatter. Is that what I'm seeing? 4 antimatter. And matter analyzer, changing matter back to energy with big losses. I probably don't want one of these, but it doesn't need antimatter anyway. So in total, we need 4 antimatter. Got it? So I have half of one. We're going to wrap up the episode. I'm going to let this basically just idle here for a long time and come back next time. And, you know, I'll just keep an eye on it, make sure that we're, you know, I don't think we're going to run out of anything. Worst case, we could run out of some red matter and just have to restock this. But other than the occasional restocking of red matter, which I don't think is going to be a big deal, you know, that's the only thing. And if I wanted to, I could probably set up uranium plants. So that's another way to make that cool, right? What's up with our fluorite? Are we low on fluorite? Something going on with our fluorite, guys? Is it that we just don't have enough seeds? Because I can help out with that. Where's our fluorite? But yeah, let's wrap up here. Yeah, see, we're low on fluorite essence. Not a big deal. I'll just do the thing that we know I'm going to do. Oops. For a second, my game lagged when I did that, and I'm like, did I just break something? But yeah, let's wrap up the episode here. We'll come back next time, and hopefully I'll have all the antimatter I need, and then we'll be good to go. Now, one other note is that antimatter is also used for these guys, Mark III antimatter relays, and it's a lot of antimatter we need per Mark III. So long story short, if we decide to go that route, we're going to need a bigger reactor. Because the only way we can increase our antimatter production at this point is a faster reactor. So we will need to do that. We will need a bigger reactor to handle that. But we'll see. We may or may not do that. For now, Del20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Coming back next time to probably have antimatter and check out mass fabrication. All right, everyone. Take it easy.